sound to work properly. So the first order of the day is tell me whether you can hear me okay. Give me a thumbs up or say, no, it sucks, so that I know what's going on. Then we can get started. So there's a bit of a lag on this. It always takes a... Well, I can hear it. I think we'll work it okay. So Sonny Jones is with us from DFW. Good to see you, Sonny Jones. And there's quite a few of you who've already joined, so that's a good sign. Some of you have already given us a thumbs up, so we don't have to kind of plague you about that. Angela Blythe is with us. Hi, Angela. And Tammy will be with us shortly. She's just saying goodbye to the grandbaby. All right, so I want to talk today about fading puppy syndrome. And I want to talk specifically about canine herpes virus. And what's come up here is I had an incident with a veterinarian who uses us quite a bit for buying products from us and use our stud dogs. And he called me up. This is Dr. Dennis Jones, really nice guy. Called me up about a week ago and said, I'm having a problem. We've got a litter of 6 puppies. They were born on time. They're healthy, fat little puppies. Everything was doing great. And then day 2, I lost a puppy. Day 3, I lost 2 more puppies. And here we are at day 5, and some of the other puppies are already looking like they're in rough shape. Have you been through this before? And I said, well, I mean, this is, you know, what we diagnose as fading puppy syndrome, but it doesn't really mean very much. It's like saying you've got IBS. It's like, you know, what is fading puppy syndrome? Fading puppy syndrome means your puppies are going downhill, but you don't know why. So what I said to him was this. I said, look, one thing that there's a couple of things that can happen. One of them is brucellosis. And he said, and that brucellosis, typically you have dead puppies. They are bought before they're ever born, or they're born dead. I said, I don't think that's what it is. He said, I've been doing this for the last 50 plus years. I've never seen a case of brucellosis. And I said, well, I agree. We test all the dogs that come to us for brucellosis. We've never had one come up positive yet. And then I said to him, well, the other one is canine herpes virus, CHV1. And he said, I don't think that's it either. And I said, well, you know, what you can do is you can do a necropsy afterwards, look at their kidneys, lungs, liver, specifically the kidneys, take a look and see whether or not they've hemorrhaged. And if they have, you can do a titer test, other things that you can do. You can do a path test to find out whether or not that was what's going on. Guess what? 2 days later, calls me up and says, James, you're right. They had canine herpes virus. I didn't realize that this could be a problem like I'm having. So this is hell. So, well, let's have a look here. We've got Inzaris is with us. We've got GNC Masters is with us. Stacey Willis is here from Idaho. We'll be AIing about an hour with Mando. Oh, well, good, great. Yes, you got a shipment in today. Yes, excellent. Fluffy Furry Frenches is with us. Ariel's with us. That's Billy's mum. All right, so let's get back on with this. So let's talk. I think this is very important that we talk about CHV1 because I don't think that most people realize what the hell is going on with this. I did a video 6 years ago, and I've kind of partially ignored this. And the reason is because, well, let me tell you the facts, and then we'll kind of get into a general discussion about this. If I asked you how many dogs, what percentage of dogs test positive for canine herpes virus, you all say what you think. Let's have some answers from you. Let's people come up with it. Is it 2%? Is it 3%? Is it 6%? Give me a number. What do you think of the number of dogs in the general canine population that would test positive for canine herpes virus? And by the way, you can test this in what's called a titer test, where you, yes, dogs put up. Tammy's just behind us here asking where the dogs are. They've been out running around and they're happy. So, yeah, so let's have a look, see if anybody's answered yet. So the canine herpes virus it's the same family of viruses that humans get, where you get a cold sore. So Rhonda Lee says 1%. That would be the kind of thing that I would bet. Casey Tunar says 25%. Right, very good. Keep it coming on. I'll tell you in a second. So the canine herpes virus is a similar family to the ones that affect humans. By the way, you cannot get canine herpes virus from dogs. It's not, if your dogs have it, it's not going to affect you. You're not going to come up with, you know, cold sores in your mouth, you know, or worse yet, you know, genital herpes, which is just no joke, I'm sure. You know, but the problem with dogs is that dogs who are over a year and a half old or older, they're asymptomatic. You would not know that they are carrying the canine herpes. Steve Miller just said 75%. Fluffy Furry French said 85%. Bingo, you're right in the numbers there. It's between 75 and 90% of all dogs, of all populations, have the canine herpes virus. So it's huge, right? It's huge. Why aren't we seeing a huge problem? Well, the first thing, of course, is it doesn't affect, those dogs just have symptoms like they've got a cold, if even that. You wouldn't know it. I mean, certainly, look, if I had a cold, and I'm giving you a talk here, you might know I've got a cold because I might sound a bit stuffy or be coughing a little bit, but you probably wouldn't know. And certainly with your dogs, they don't talk to you. You can't hear their voice changing. You don't have any clue they've got canine herpes virus. So the point here is, I think you have to assume that every single adult dog that you come across, you have to assume that it has canine herpes virus, because 8 out of 10 dogs have it, right? So why is this a problem? Well, it's really not a problem for the dog's dog, because it's just like having a mild case of a cold. And working on the sound. Let's see if that comes back in. Hopefully that fixes that problem. Okay, I think we're back up and running now. There's some sound. Thank you for letting me know. Hope we're not back to these sound issues again. Okay, so I'm not sure where I was in that conversation, but I'm just going to back it up a little bit. So the problem here is most dogs do have canine herpes virus. Doesn't affect dogs because the symptoms are just nothing more than a cold, and it's only when they're actually actively shedding the virus. So for the most of the time, it's completely not a big deal, unless you're a puppy that's just been born. Puppies that have just been born between the ages of 1 day and 14 days old, they can't regulate their temperature. They have got hardly any immune system. And those puppies can absolutely get in trouble. And what happens is it wipes the whole litter out. That's what happened to Dr. Johnson. Absolutely healthy, wonderful looking puppies, nice and fat and roly-poly. Day 2 start losing puppies. Day 6, the whole lot's dead. And a mystery as to what's going on. And it was that canine herpes virus. So this is the takeaway on this. There's a number of ways that you can save the day. One of them is that you vaccinate your dogs for the canine herpes virus. That's only good if you live in Europe. The canine herpes virus was detected in 1965. You do a test for it. You can do a test for it. 2005, a vaccine came up, only available in Europe. You can't buy it in the United States. Now, Dr. Johnson's going to go get some, and I'm going to get some from him. And maybe some of you can get some through me from him. I don't know if that's even legal. But what you do is if you vaccinate the dog, and this is young dogs, it's always dogs that are having their first litter who get, after they're a couple of years old, they've got an immune system built up that they are protected and they protect their young. So it's typically first litters, younger dogs that maybe lose litter because she was contagious when the puppies were being born. And so that obviously doesn't happen all the time. That's why we don't have all these puppies dying all the time. But maybe 20% of puppies born to first-time moms could suffer from this. So what can you do? The vaccine, unfortunately, is out for you. The vaccine works incredibly well. For some reason, the FDA has not let us use it here in the United States. But you can do this. You can quarantine your mom from any other dogs for a month before whelp and a month after whelp. If you do that, you'll probably not have a problem. So that's the takeaway on this. And I think it's very important to realize this. We've been doing this anyway. We do quarantine our dogs. And so we haven't had a problem with it. But I do talk to people literally every week who've run into trouble. And most of the time, you know, the path I'm going down is, oh, well, you probably took the puppies early and let lungs develop. But then I say, no, the time was right. They look great. And then it's like, what's going on? And the answer is, well, what they're told is fading puppy syndrome. What it probably is CHV1. So what can you do for CHV1? And the answer is that if the puppies have died, you can do a necropsy where you basically, and I've done this a long, long time ago, basically you just cut the belly open, you go pull the kidneys out, look at them, and you'll see little speckled dots hemorrhaging all over the liver, specifically the kidneys and the lungs. And if you see that, you know, and the puppies have all started dying, you've got CHV1. If you put those puppies, the live ones obviously, into an incubator and set the temperature above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, it stops the virus from growing. And that is probably your first step towards solving this problem when you're in this case. So I think, and I wanted to get this across because I think it really is something that we are missing the boat on. And I think that the majority of vets, including Dr. Johnson, when he talked to me, was not aware of the fact that CHV1 is a reality. And, you know, it is. It wiped out his litter, and I don't want it wiping out your litter. Okay, I've lost my, see if we can get to the point where we can see what the hell's going on here. Give me 2 seconds. See if I can see the, oh dear. Got to get to the questions. Tammy, can you bring your phone in here? I'm going to get Tammy to come into the phone so I can see all the questions. Give me a couple of seconds here. And I've got to get to the live stream. Sorry, I've got to get it on my phone so I can see what questions you're asking me. And let's do a paste here and see if that will do it. Can you get to the live stream? Sorry. Kind of got flummoxed there for a second. Copy this. Copy. You got questions up on the screen? Okay. All right. All right. I think I've got to though. All right. Sorry, folks, we can't get to the questions. We're having a little bit of a technical difficulty here. We'll be with you in a second. So other people, no, it's not a single presentation. Tammy's right here. So she's,
hey,
here's Tammy.
I had to see my grandbaby off.
Yes.
Had to help her with loading up the car. It's like moving every time you go somewhere with the baby. She needed help.
Well, come on, where's all the questions? I'll get to it, Tammy. I'm still flummoxing. Well, all right, so maybe this is it here. Good Lord, I can't find the questions. Can you see them on the screen?
Let me play with them.
Yeah, you
No,
play.
I can't.
Ariel says, hi, Tammy.
Hey.
Let's just dump out of this and start the whole thing again.
Yeah.
We'll be with you here in a second, folks. We're still trying to get the questions up on the screen so I can see what people have been asking. And my phone's being cantankerous.
Well, mine's not doing it either.
Yours not doing it either? Okay. We'll get there. Just a second. Why is it on private relay?
I don't know.
All right. I got the live. You still having problems? Yes. I am too. I can't get the question up. What's a good price for an incubator? So I'm going to answer some of these questions while Tammy works on this. Well, you go to Amazon, you can buy an incubator for 120 bucks. They suck. They're a light bulb with maybe a thermostat in them. They don't regulate anything. They're horrible. I think it's a huge mistake. If you buy a pet brooder, which is probably top of the line, you're going to pay maybe $1,500. If you go to My Brooder Supply and buy the one that we manufacture, I think currently it's 252 bucks. And it's the only one that's portable because it'll run on both 12 volts and 110 in your house. And by the way, that is the thing that you use if you're battling canine herpesvirus. You put the puppies in an incubator and you can save puppies with this. It's not just great for saving puppies in trouble, but it's great for saving puppies who are having the canine herpesvirus. You getting anywhere?
Yes, I did.
Did you really?
Open.
Good for you. Good Lord.
I think we had a brain fart.
We did have a brain fart. Good Lord. I've lost it again. Let me see yours. You work on that one.
Oh.
And then let me come back up.
It was on there.
It was.
What did you do to it?
We've got lots of questions here. Okay. GNC Maths, Furry French is with us. Ariel's with us. Forget-me-nots. Not French is here from Australia. Always good to see you. Rhonda Lee's said guess 1%. Steve Miller, who got it right, along with Fluffy Furry French, is an 85% chance of getting of dogs having CHV1, but both correct. So Forget Me Not is asking a question about shipping incubator. Just get hold of, if you call the number on the My Breeder Supply website, you'll talk directly to Brady, and he can definitely find out exactly what you wanted, what you need, and get it sorted out for you. All right. And then we've got lots of people saying you're back on. We can hear you. Rhonda Lee says this is very scary. We're talking about CHV1. You got that right. It is very scary. But there are some things that you can do, like we were talking about. That's yeah, I've got it here. That's good. I'm gonna steal yours.
No, you take yours. I'll keep mine.
All right.
There you go.
Where were we here?
Go down. Down.
Why isn't the super chat working? I don't know. So Bruno says I'm interested in the poop trays. So just give me a call after this, 580-799-2873. It's in the description. You can look at the descriptions for all this stuff. Yeah. Give me a call. We'll set you up with that.
The poop tray.
Why are they going to love the poop tray?
Oh, because it works. That time that we went to the show, and Brandon had brought some puppies up. And he said, "We're going to put these puppies." And we said, "Well, throw them in that crate that we can put the poop tray in there." And so these puppies were like, what, 6-7 weeks old?
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't have taken my puppies to
no,
that show
not now that I know
But
about
anyway, so James says, put them in our crate. You know, we had the lift on it. We were lifting it up and down, and we put the poop tray in there. Those puppies had never, ever been around the poop tray.
Right.
We put that poop tray in there. Within 30 minutes, the puppies pee-peed in it, which we went, yay! And then an hour later, there was poop in it. And that was a big plus. And looky there.
Don't complain. Campaign just gave us some money. Thank you very much.
You.
We
but
appreciate
you're gonna
that.
love that poop tray because it works. It's proven. You know, if we don't like something that James develops or that we get in, we don't like it. We tried it and used it and we didn't like it. We don't sell it. So if we're selling it, it's good stuff. And this poop tray is absolutely a lifesaver on cleanup time, because people that use the litter box training, half the time the puppies are eating it. You're trying to keep them from eating the chips. And then the wood chips or the wood pellets, the dust is real bad. And if you're allergic to pine, you've got a problem with that, you know, but you're getting dust everywhere. They're eating it, the paper pellets also. So, but with this poop tray, you got to put that pee pad under that tray and tuck it in so the puppies can't pull it out. So if you don't tuck it in, you're going to have a problem.
Right. So we turn this to an advert, which you know, we always.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, that's all right.
I love my poop tray.
I will say one thing though: there's a lot of people who've ordered the poop tray, got one, come back and order some more. So I haven't had anybody who says this is a piece of crap. I want to get my money back. Not happened one time.
No.
Bruno Frenchy fan says, make sure you guys hit the like button to keep Tammy happy. Good idea. Right, Tammy?
Yes.
Absolutely right.
Definitely.
Yes.
Is this
right.
not working?
I don't know.
That's probably why you gave it to me.
No, it did blow up on me. Go get this. Look in there. There's another one, I think. I don't know what's up with that. It messed up for me, too. See if there's another one down there. Yes. Okay, let's have a look here. Bruno says, my puppies are just 4 weeks old, transferring to solid food. So, yes, I need those trays. You bet. Exactly. Again, I don't want to get harp on this too much, but it makes a huge difference. You can get them to crap in the right place. You're not having them stumbling through it, eating it. You're not changing pee pads out all over the place. It really does work. And the reason it works right is because it's designed so the holes are oblong. Most of the trays that I see have got square or round holes in it. Turds aren't round. They're Tootsie Rolls. They won't fall through. If they don't fall through, they're worthless. Ariel says, Billy used the poop trays. Now he's ponding outside. No accidents inside. Took several weeks, but he's doing great. We love the poop tray and the incubators. Absolutely excellent. Good. All right. So none of those working?
No.
What's the deal?
Where's the...
Let me have them.
Where's the charger?
Well.
Like you're going to make a miracle.
Yeah. What is the deal?
Here's one. Here's one. Got one.
Got one? Good deal. All right.
I got one.
Good.
James always takes care of numero uno. This guy.
Castle Hills Labrador says, I've after I have my letter. I really want the puppy play gym from. Well, great. Right, absolutely.
The
you
play
bet.
gym.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
that's
of these
great
things
too.
you can find on, they're not on My Breeder Supply, these new products. They're on Love My Pups under products. And you always call me. Ariel says, my £1 chihuahuas use the poop trays. We love them. Great.
And usually you can start them at 4 weeks old.
Sonny Jones says, I tried the pellets in the poop tray, no success. Switched to pea pads, better, but not 100%. Yes. So, our experience with this is what we do is this. We put the poop tray, the medium-sized one, in the crate with the puppies at night so that it fills up one half of that crate area.
Where they used to go pee-pee at.
Yes. So now they're either on their bed, which they don't like to crap on, or they've got the other option they have is the poop tray.
You got to train them into it.
Yeah. And by the way, if you do this when they're like 9, 10 weeks old, you're a bit late. You need to start this as soon as you start weaning. 4 weeks, really.
Doesn't mean that you can't get them to use it at 9 and 10 weeks old, because they'll eventually use it. But yeah, you have to train them to it. You got to train yourself along with the puppies.
So don't complain, says James. That was me who texted you from 209 number. She had 6 puppies all at home, healthy and delivered. Oh, great, good deal.
Good.
Forget me not Frenches. In temp, checking twice a day with Celsius. Is it 35? So, well, let's just talk about what's going on here, because this is this other part of this fading puppy syndrome. Now, the canine herpesvirus is one that typically you won't see the vets talking about it. I don't know why. I haven't talked about it a whole bunch because I didn't know any better. Because the big thing, the most likely thing is you take puppies early if you're having a C-section. You get in big trouble. Not a canine herpesvirus, their lungs haven't developed, and they start dying off typically after about 2 days. So somebody here is fashion. See, who is this? Forget me not Frenches. Yeah, so forget me not French. They're in Australia, and so they are asking about temperatures in Celsius, and the number you're looking for is a number below 99.0 Fahrenheit. Now, that in Celsius, I think, is about 38, but you best go check this because there's not much room for margin on this. What you want to see is a temperature that's dropping from a normal temperature in Fahrenheit of about 101, drops slowly over, a week prior to whelp? Is that right? The magic number is 99.0 or less. And when you see that, typically puppies in 24 hours. This is probably the single most...
98.
Well, 98.9. 99.0, less than, right? So, yeah, right. Exactly. But this is, you can do progesterone tests, and it's okay most of the time, but it's certainly, I don't think it's better or as good as taking the temperature. The problem with this is there's no single thing other than going into labor that guarantees you're in the right place. It's really about seeing all these things together: temperature drop, not eating food, nesting, panting, progesterone level below 3.3. You're in a safe set. But not any single one thing by itself is a guarantee you're in the right place. But for us, temperature drop followed with some panting and nesting and not eating food, it's a damn good sign you're in the right place. And that you are 61 days.
And having to drag her out to go pee-pee.
Yes.
Because usually they don't want to leave their bed area that they're...
Exactly. Right. All right.
Okay, I see somebody that says, what type of heat lamp do you recommend for whelping? What a dirty word that is, heat lamp.
Who asked that question? You're going to cut them off right now. Who asked that?
Ronald White. We don't use a heat lamp. We use our heated whelping.
Why don't we use a heat lamp?
Because heat lamp will burn up mama, number one, because you got it shining right down, pretty close to the puppies and mama, and she's hot and miserable and she's panting away and babies are crying, trying to keep warm. That heated whelping system that we have heats from the bottom up. Around the edges of the tray that you have the heat tape on, and mama is nice and cool in the middle. Babies are protected by the pig railing around, and the heat tape is under that tray, which is underneath the I had to look off somewhere. The pig rail. So mama's happy in the middle, being nice and cool. Babies are under the pig rail, which the heat tape underneath the tray is nice and warm and the babies are laying right there. And then those babies work in shifts on mama that's on the cool part. There'll be like 3 of them going over there and nursing. And when they nurse and drop off, they get cool because they fell off of mama and they're on the cooler part of the tray. And they don't like that. So they go crawling back under the pig rail where the nice warm heat tape is and wake up the other babies. And the other babies go, oh, we're hungry. And they go off and go nurse on mama. While the ones that are full from nursing are under the pig rail on top of the tray that has the heat tape underneath, keeping them nice and warm.
Right. So
that's why we don't like the heat lamps.
We don't
because
like heat
you
lamps.
also burn yourself with that
sure.
and burn mama if it ever falls. And then you can burn her just laying there getting a suntan all day.
She's the closest one to
Yeah,
it.
she's hot and miserable.
She hates it.
I gotta get drink water.
She hates it. So then the next thing that you could do is put a heat pad underneath the whole tray they're laying on. But the problem with that is, again, you've got mum who's in the middle getting most of the heat. Then the next solution is, well, look, we'll just put the puppies in an incubator and separate them from mum and just put them with mum whenever we need to. Trouble is you break the mum-baby bond and it makes you the surrogate mum, and you've got to get up every few hours, move puppies from an incubator to feed with mum for 10, 15 minutes. You know, it just ruins your life for the next 3 weeks. Our system works. It just flat works. But again, I don't want to turn this whole thing into an advertising campaign. But we hate heat lamps. So we hate them with a passion. We have used them in the past. We had labs. We did exactly that. And that's what led us down the path to find a better solution. The better solution was the heated whelp again. All right. Let's have a look. Fashion Forward's with us and is late. You're okay. Janelle Gray says, do you need an incubator for newborn pups? Do you have a crystal ball? You know, if you do, then look in the crystal ball, rub it, and see if it says you'll need it for the next litter. Because the answer is, I don't know, and you don't know. And if you don't have one, it's the most likely that you will need it. This is the problem. Is, you know, when do you need an incubator? When puppies are sick, you need an incubator. Hopefully
when you're going to have babies, you need an incubator.
Or, you know, another good reason to have an incubator is just simply to transfer puppies from the vet to your house, especially if you've got to go find a vet that's 2 hours away, because you can get a hell of a lot better deal. Some of you are paying $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000 and $5,000 and $6,000 to C-sections. But if you travel an hour and a half away, you might get your price sub $1,000. Worth spending $250 on an incubator so that you can safely transport puppies home for hours, a day if necessary, in the comfort of an incubator where everything's fun. But that's only one reason. The reason to have an incubator primarily is you will occasionally have sick puppies. You have a litter of 13 puppies, right? Hey,
Frenchie?
Frenchies, we've had it, right?
13?
Yep.
No.
Well, Cody has.
13?
We've had 10. Well, look, anyway, you have a big litter of Frenchies. 10 puppies is a big litter. 8's a big litter.
James, your nose. Okay. I was making sure his nose hadn't grown. You're thinking of labs.
Zip it up, woman. But here's the problem. Let's say that you have a big litter, right? Whatever that might be. If labs, it might be 15. If it's French, it might be 8. I'll promise you that you're going to have 1 or 2 puppies in there are going to be small puppies. They're going to be little runty puppies. And those little runty puppies, they're going to have a struggle for the first few days.
And they're going to need that.
They're going to need an
traveling
incubator. If you don't have an incubator, someone just gave us a thumbs up.
Okay, so
but yes, you need an incubator.
Yes, you need that incubator.
Yeah. If you're going to do 1 litter and that's all you're ever going to do, you might well get away with it. But I would venture to guess every other to every 3rd litter we're using our incubator to save puppies, and we don't lose puppies. Look at we had a big ordeal talking about Pixie, right? Pixie was very, 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 very small puppy. She's a gorgeous, small, grown-up Frenchie now at 12 pounds. And she would never have made it without an incubator. It would not happen. So, okay, you need an incubator.
Yes.
You need an incubator.
Yes.
What else should you have,
And
Taryn?
it's pennies to run it, to plug it into your wall, your outlet on your wall.
Yorkie Girls Pup says, how's your poodle pup doing? Did you name her?
I haven't named her yet, but we're getting real close.
We had 70 of you who gave us names. 70 of you.
It has to ring a bell in my head when I hear the name.
There was quite a few of them that I'd have gone with, but Mama over here.
Well, I want to keep her as a female name for sure. She is unique, so I just call her Unique.
Call her Unique. Call it unique.
She's about as
Like it.
unique as you can get.
Unique. I like it. Anyway, so the answer is come up with some more names. We haven't got there yet, but you're all
We're getting close.
We're getting close. Right?
Getting close. We
all right.
named so many puppies. I think that's what the problem is, because I'll say, no, I've already had that. It's hard.
Fashion forward, Mum, how long will it take to get the heated whelping system, South Carolina? The answer is you can have it shipped overnight if you need it that quick. It'll cost you a bit more money. Typically in South Carolina, you ship it out on Monday, get it by Friday, and cheap shipping. But if you want it overnight, anything we've got can be had overnight. Just you're going to pay some money for overnight shipping. 2 days, about half the price, and just regular shipping by FedEx isn't too bad. So the answer is we can respond to it quickly.
Who was the other person that sent us money?
I don't know.
Because I don't want to leave them out.
Well, I don't think they did.
Because we cut that short because we were answering a question.
Angela Blythe, about how long does the heat tape work and how often do I need to replace it? Good question. So the answer to this is that Cody, my son, I was talking to him about this the other day. He says, I've got one that's 6 years old, still working fine. The reason that they can go wrong is 2 reasons. They get unstuck and they don't want to stick back on very good. You can always stick some more duct tape over the top of them and stick them back in place. That's one reason. And the other one is that you installed it in such a way that a dog can get to the cord and chew through the cord. And that'll do it in. But you can buy just the replacement heat tape. You don't have to buy the whole thing.
Now, where did the dog get a hold of it to chew through the cord?
Well, what do you think?
Because it was left out and the dog got a hold of it?
That's one good reason.
Okay.
That's a very good reason.
Because on the inside, there's no way that they can get to the cord.
Well, if you don't get the cord outside.
Oh, if you don't put the cord on the outside of the cage and you have it sticking in through the inside, Mama gets it.
I'll tell you something that happened here you don't know about that happened just a couple of weeks ago. I've been working on another heated tray for older dogs, right? And I've used it on Sophia.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No, you used it on Kit.
Well, I did after Sophia got the damn cord in there and chewed the damn thing in half. It runs off 12 volts. It didn't hurt her. If it had been 110 volts, it might have been a different story. So the answer is dogs will chew through anything, and you got to be careful. Osty Spencer, I haven't seen that name before. Hi, Osty. Osty says, we have a litter of golden puppies that are 6 weeks old. 2 of the puppies are struggling to pee and strain to do so.
Golden retrievers?
Yes, golden retrievers.
Okay.
And then hardly anything comes out. So they're struggling to pee. So what is going on here? Well, I mean, I don't know the answer to this because it's something that I have never personally seen this, but my guess is a urinary tract infection is what's going on. So dogs, I mean, I've had a urinary tract infection. Too much information here. How many of you had a urinary tract infection?
James, I think they're talking about dogs and urinary
tract. But what
tract.
happens when you have a urinary tract infection?
Nobody cares what you've had.
What happens when you get a urinary tract infection?
You don't feel very good.
No, and you try to pee and you can't pee.
Clouded. Yeah,
cloudy. And you're trying to pee all the time and not much comes out. I think it's a urinary tract infection. How do you find out?
Is it a female she's talking about or a male?
Boys, I think.
Boys.
But I don't think...
Well, usually it'll show up on their end of their little, wherever they TT from, and it'll be kind of a cloudy yellow, kind of thick.
Bit pussy, maybe? Yeah.
Kind of thick. And so that's a good idea of urinary
tract. I think that's a urinary.
Now, if you put that in a little spoon, like those plasticware, and put that on that and take it to the vet, they look at it, yep, it's a urinary tract, so you can get medicine that way too without taking the dog in there for a vet check.
Yeah, but the right treatment for this is if I'm right about it being a urinary tract infection, is we get diagnosed from a vet, which typically means they've got to urinate into a cup, collect some urine, they'll look at it, and they'll tell you whether it's a urinary tract infection. If it is, give you antibiotics. So I suspect that's what the problem is. I wouldn't let this go on for too long. I don't think this is something that's going to get completely out of control, but it could.
And you can smell it too. If it's bad enough, you can smell it.
Octavia says, how much do your puppies normally weigh before they go to their forever homes? Puppies typically gain about half an ounce a day. Our puppies don't live to 10 weeks old. So they're putting on about, 3.5 ounces, a quarter of a pound a week. And so our puppies typically weigh 2 to 4 pounds. I think it's probably the right, maybe a bit more than that.
At 10 weeks old?
Yes. Am I full of crap?
The 2 pound? Now, Pixie was the only 2 pound that left our home.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, 10 weeks. Yeah. Our puppies weigh anywhere at 10 weeks, anywhere from 7 to maybe 10 pounds. at 10 weeks old. We have small puppies. Yeah. 10 weeks at 10 pounds at 10 weeks is going to be a pretty big puppy.
So you can see that I came up with the wrong answer right away, right?
Yeah, I did.
I did.
That's what I'm here for.
That's okay.
Every once in a while, I know the answers.
But I think the important thing here is I don't care really too much to the puppy's weight. What I do care about is they've been gaining weight all the time.
Right after they're born.
Yep. All the time. And they're happy, healthy puppies. Yeah. Happy, healthy puppies. Mm-hmm. If they're small puppies, fine. If they're bigger puppies, fine. I just don't want a puppy that's not gaining weight and just is lethargic and doesn't want to play. And that's not a happy puppy, and it's not won't be a happy forever home. So, obviously there is. I mean, look, for instance, we've got now Unique.
No, it's not her name, James.
She's growing I mean, she has got so much bigger. So she's the same kind of age as when we have a Frenchie leave us. And she's a hell of a lot bigger than a Frenchie. So there you go. So
she's 13 weeks, coming up on 14 weeks here pretty quick.
So Forget Me Not French is asking about emailing, whelping bot measurements, blah, blah, blah. I ordered the incubator as well. Is it possible to get these express posted to me? Again, if you've got questions specifically about products that you've ordered from My Breeder Supply, you've got to call that number. These days, although I am involved with the company, and it was originally my company, I'm stepped back from it. And these days, I'm not involved with the day-to-day running of the company. I still can help support products if you have an issue, you need some help. But answers about questions like shipping and those kind of things, they got to go to Brady. And there's a phone number. If you go to company in My Breeder Supply, call that number up. Brady will talk to you. He's a nice guy, and he'll be able to answer all the questions immediately.
Be sure, and if they don't answer, leave your phone number on the recording, and also send a text.
Castle Hills Labradors says, so put newly whelped pups on mum first and transfer them to the incubator to keep them warm while she's making the next one. So what we're talking about here is a natural birth. And yes, we've been
on Labradors, Labradors. Yeah, we used to raise Labradors.
Yeah, we didn't have an incubator back then.
No.
Right? In fact, I produced my first incubator when I thought we had canine herpes virus, and that got us into building things, included our first incubator. And Rhonda Lee says Brady's the best he is. Thank you. But the point here is, yes, exactly. Get the first puppy out, get it dried off, get mum to lick on it, put it on a nipple. If it can stay on a nipple, that's great. But typically, mum's moving around too much, getting up and down.
Yeah.
Stick it in the incubator. Get the next one
because
going.
the next puppy she's having, she's tending to it and she's turning like this, and the puppy's in the way. And might get pawed at while she's trying to have that other puppy. So put that other puppy in that traveling incubator. And where it's safe and warm.
The Labradors,
happy.
Get the larger one. The large one's no more expensive than the smaller one. It's just not quite as mobile, but I mean, get the larger one for the lads. But yeah, you can put a puppy in an incubator for hours. Newborn puppies can be
How many Frenchie babies can we get in an incubator?
10, and they're squashed in pretty good.
And that's in the small incubator.
The bigger one, you could put 2.5 tons, but you could probably fit 25 Frenchies in the large one.
You can put a baby lamb in that large one too.
We've got rescue places buying these things for putting things like, even small goats in the large one.
That's what a baby lamb is too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, lamb, goat. There is a lamb, but there is a goat. They're both the same size pretty much, yeah.
I like it when Tammy can make me look like an idiot and do it so well.
I'm a country girl.
You are a country girl.
What is it? You can't take the country out of the city girl. You can take the country girl to the city, but you can't take the country out of the
So somebody's talking about our likes.
I'm saying that wrong. Somebody's going to have to correct me on that.
Yeah, we want more likes out of you all. You're doing pretty good, but we need more.
Yes, come on. Let's do some likes. Get it.
Right. John Miller says we travel and have the full-size incubators and like the flexibility. Good. So the large one, you've got to have two hands like this. Getting in through doors is a little bit rough. The small one is like a large purse.
Oh, yeah.
Large handbag. I mean, it's one-handed operation. The Frenchies.
James knows how those handbags work.
I do. Shall I go get my handbag?
No. Okay. Your man purse.
My man purse.
Where's your man's ear? You got your man's ear on?
Stop it. Somebody making fun of me. But seriously though, if you're going to have dogs, so that if you've got 60-pound, 50-pound females, get the larger one. You need the room.
Yeah.
All right. Have you ever used Cystoroline when doing AI? The vet gives it this when they perform surgical AI. I don't know what that is. So the first answer is no, because I don't know what it is. And if I did, I'd know it. And so what would you give when doing an AI? So let's talk about that for a little bit, about what you might use for an AI and why. So there's, if you're doing an AI and the dog that is providing the semen is right there with you, then I think you really can't do much better than to collect from it, put it in a syringe with an AI rod, and stick it in a female as quickly as you possibly can. You can't really do much better than that. Now, if I'm in a situation where I'm pulled from a male and the volume is not very good, maybe a cc, you can lose half a cc in the AI rod. To those situations, I always add some extender. Gives me more volume, gives me more product to work with, and I can be sure that it gets flushed through and I get everything inside the dog. I would like to have 2 to 4 cc's of workable volume on a French Bulldog. I know I'd get it all in the dog, but it will stay in there. I don't like to have 10 cc's. It's hard to get it to stay in a small dog. But if I've got a cc or less, I want to add some volume to it. The extender's good. Now, the people who sell the extender tell you that it's better to do that than not. I think they're just trying to sell you extender. So I don't buy that, but I don't think there's any harm to it. Now, there are products that you can add to semen to wake it up. If you've got some semen that looks pretty sluggish under the microscope, there are some things that have, I can't think what you use for dogs, and you give them injection to get their hearts going. What is it? Epinephrine. I like epinephrine in them, which is basically like having caffeine in there that helps stimulate the semen. I mean, I've never used it, but I mean, yeah. If you'd used it, you might tell us here.
Yeah, we always like your feedback. Let us know what we don't know.
Forget-me-nots, hi, the phone number tells me I can't be connected. What's the international number? I need to dial ahead of the phone number. I don't know, but I can find out for you. If you call me tomorrow or after this, I'll find out for you. You should be able to Google international phone number. I think it's 041, but maybe 011. I forget. It's a 3-digit number, and I forget what it is, but you do need to have that. And if you have any problems with this, you can always text me, and I'll relay it to Brady. So you can text me at the phone number that's in the description down below for this, 580-799-2873. You can call me. If you're in Australia, you got to look at the time frame a little bit, because I'm not going to answer the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning. But if you send me a message, I will get it in the morning. I will respond to it.
Look what this person said on about our heated whelping system, or our incubators. Sorry. It says, I have saved more pups with their incubators than my brooder 90.
Well, you said that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Who said that?
Ariel.
Ariel said that. That's right. Thank you, Ariel. Yeah. So, what do you pay for your brooder 90? I bet that was over $1,000 for that puppy. And there's nothing wrong with it with the brooder product. I mean, it's a nice unit. It's not portable. The thing's heavy as hell, and you're not going to go put it in your car. It runs off 110 volts. It's just not designed to be. You can take our incubator. I need to do a video of this. I'm going to do a video of this. I'm going to take our incubator. I'm going to throw it up in the air 10 foot, and it'll still be working. You can do that with a pet brooder. Just smash to pieces. You're not going to put a pup in it when we're doing that. Natalia says, is using only parental enough for deworming? No, I don't think so. I think that you should be doing parental at 2 and 4 weeks. Then you should switch to fenbendazole, Panicure, or a Safeguard. They're all the same thing at 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks. Why? The broader spectrum product. It knocks down more stuff than the parental will. You have to give it for 3 days. It's safe enough that you can give it to a pregnant mum, Safeguard. We give it to mum 10 days before whelp for 3 days in a row, and 7 days after whelp for 3 days in a row. And it's safe stuff. So I think you should be buying that anyway. You should be worming all of your dogs every few months with Safeguard anyway. So get the parental, because that's what you should be using for the young puppies, the first 2 worms at 2 and 4 weeks. Then switch to the Safeguard. All of these products will stay in your pantry. They don't have to be refrigerated. They've got shelf life that's running into years. And you can buy both of those on Amazon, and they're not expensive. Parental, by the way, is Nemex 2, which is a lot more expensive about it.
Did you already answer that
No,
one?
I don't think so.
If your puppy's 6.5 weeks old, it's time to wean that puppy too. You were saying that you have a question for you. The mom doesn't want to give them milk anymore, and she just runs away. So let her run away. Go ahead and start your babies on puppy food, their little puppy mush. And how you do that is wet your kibble down. If you've got kibble, and smash it up for them. They're big enough now that you don't have to do it like a watery gravy type. You can do it in a thick mush, and they'll probably do real good with that. And so you want to make sure, be careful with mama on her getting mastitis as she's drying up. So if you want, you could feed the puppies in the morning, let them have her during the middle of the day, and then feed the puppies in the evening, and then vice versa. And you know what comes along with that? You're going to need one of those puppy poop trays, because that's when mama quits cleaning them up, when they start eating mush, and then you've got poop everywhere. So that's where it's real handy to have that little poop tray for them.
Every now and then people complain about making our
I can't help it. It's all part of it.
No,
it falls through with it. This is what we do.
No, you're exactly
this
right.
is what we do.
You're exactly
you know?
right. You know, I think about advertising. You know, one of the things that you see,
sell.
You watch TV, and it's the same adverts over and over and over again. The reason for that is because you've got to keep
repeat.
Yep. Right. Exactly.
It works.
Champ says, is 22.4 too late for an AI insemination? So it depends what the machine is. 22.4 would be fine if you're using a fine care. If you're using what most vets have an IDEX, you're a day late. I'd recommend you do a TCI or a surgical with a number that. But is it too late? No, it's not too late. But I would prefer that you did a TCI if the numbers are that high on a fine care. And the reason for this, you shave and go a day long when you do surgical or transcervical TCI inseminations, because the semen does not have to swim up the vaginal tract. And that takes about a day. So yes, do it. Even if you did it vaginally, you'd probably get away with it, but you're better your odds if you did a TCI.
Let me say something else. What makes mama dogs not want to nurse babies too? You got to cut those puppies' nails, their little toenails. You got to trim those down, because they're doing this, and when they're fighting each other for a nipple, they're scratching on her belly. That'll make her quit not wanting to feed babies too. So I had to answer.
So I'm just looking at this one you just answered, and I don't know whether you answered this or not, but I mean, you know, at 6.5 weeks, no dog's going to want to wean at 6.5 weeks. They want to get away from their puppies at that point.
Right. Some of them do. We've had some females that stayed with them till they were.
But most have had enough of it at that point.
Yeah, and it's really better on mama to get them to start weaning them at, 4 or 5 weeks if you wanted.
You have a litter of 6 Frenchies and a mum that's 6.5 weeks old. What does a Frenchie look like at that point?
Pretty big babies.
Hammer dog poop.
Yeah.
Hammer dog poop, because you get pulled down so hard.
Oh yeah.
But they're drinking
you've
more.
got to trim those puppies' toenails.
Yes.
And I mean, the first week, you'd be surprised at their little hooks on their little toenails.
Yes, incredible.
So you need to do it once a week.
And I'd say one other thing about that too is another problem can be that mum's developing mastitis, and she's getting boobs that are hot and raw and sore, and she doesn't want anybody touching them. So you need to be checking your mum's boobs literally every day to make sure they're soft and pliable and not getting hard and lumpy. And red and blue, hot and lumpy mastitis, dog's not going to want to nurse. That makes the whole thing worse, because the milk's not being drained. Then it turns into pus and septic, and all kinds of bad things happen. So yeah. And when you do wean, you need to go through it in an orderly process. Did you talk about how to wean in terms of how you do it?
Well, I just told her, like,
cut back on food.
When you're weaning, no, cut back on nursing.
Well, like that too. But
take them.
Cut back on calories too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you need to keep mama on puppy food until she's nice and back to health. But you can do this. You can feed the puppies in the morning with puppy food. And don't ask me how much, because usually a half a cup will make a whole bunch, because this is going to be their first time they eat it. So you can feed in the morning, and then bring mama in after they've eaten that. And they're not going to nurse on mama like they had been. And then take her away towards the evening and feed the babies again. And that should be good. And do that every day. And then you can start slacking it off more. You can feed mama on the babies on mama twice a day, and then do it once a day, and then gone. As long as you're watching her mastitis situation.
So Fashion Forward Mum had mentioned cystoroline, and she says it's used for the treatment of follicular ovarian cysts, which results from the failure of luteinization and ovulation. So what we're talking about here is eggs that are developed but not moved down the fallopian tube to end up inside the uterus. I mean, in women, you'd call that, what do you call a ligated, a tubal ligation? And we have the eggs are fertilized and stay inside the fallopian tube. There's a name for it. Well, I forget what it is. You're looking at me like I'm an idiot. So anyway, that's what I'm talking about. Bruno says, my puppies are 4 weeks, 2.4 to 3.2 pounds, insane fat potatoes. Love it. Right. You can look at a puppy and you can just
feel it. You can reach in there and feel it.
Yeah.
They have meat on their bones.
They
just
just
feel
like you said,
good.
weren't they?
Yeah,
Just like
yeah. They
potatoes.
feel good.
Yes.
They've got
little rolls.
Yeah,
on them. They're
a lot of
just
meat to
fat
them.
little rolls, right?
Yeah.
One thing you have to watch out for, though, once you get to around 2 weeks, is some of these puppies can get too big. The milk supply is too good, especially small litters. They don't have a lot of competition. The next thing you know is they are not getting up on their feet and they're going to develop flat chests, and you really can get in trouble with this. So be aware of this problem with flat chests, swimmer syndrome. And so I'm actually in the process, about finished with my development now. I've actually had a few people try out after puppy flat chest kits. So if anybody's got a problem with this, give me a call, because we're actually ready to go with our puppy flat chest kits. But this is going to be a big problem. If the first order of the day is to simply tape up their back legs. But if you don't do that soon enough and let it go on too long, they can develop this flat chest. You'll know it, because rather than having a barrel chest like this on the side, it'll be absolutely flat from armpit to armpit. It'll be flat. And those puppies then have compromised lungs and heart, and they can really get in trouble. So it's important that you're aware of this.
No.
Inzara says, is the litter color calculator that you posted up as an app you recommend, or one that you made? I didn't make it. I did help them with promoting it a little bit by doing some videos. And they used to have my videos in there talking about their color app. But I like it. I don't make any money off it. I never made any money off it. It's not, I don't have a vested interest in it. But I really like it because it's easy to use. And it does things like pinks, the things that Color My Frenchies don't do. Color My Frenchies and the Frenchie color app, they're all free. And hey, get one. I play with them. Oh, listen to this heart and soul bullies. We just had a litter of 14 puppies, pregnant with 16, because of your help, your progesterone machine, your heated whelping system, and your incubator, but most of all, your knowledge. Thank you. Well, you're very welcome. Who have you got here?
Oh, who do you think I have?
So everybody's asking what names you come up with, because I mean, people have been giving us names. So
I know, and they come up with good names. I'm just waiting for the best one.
Somebody said Reese's Pieces.
No,
I like Reese's.
You know
Pieces.
What she reminded me of when I first got her was a s'mores, because she's chocolate, she's graham cracker, and she is marshmallow.
I like s'mores. That's another great name. Give her that name.
No, it just doesn't fit right. I'll know when it's here.
Okay.
She was a little jealous because the baby was here and she had to be put up.
Yes, right. So we've got some people who are saying they like the incubator, like heated whelping kit. All of you who are saying that, I thank you very much. We appreciate the support we get. I think that we design these things to make our lives better, and that's why we offer them to people.
No.
Don't complain campaign says, what is a safe amount of times to breed a Frenchie? I've answered this quite a few times, but I'm going to go over it really quickly. There is no set date for this. There's no set number. What it matters is, how was the previous litter? If you did a C-section, ask the vet how her insides are. Does she have a lot of adhesions?
No.
Does she have some scarring? Has she got some thinning of the uterus? They're all reasons to maybe stop. But if it was a good litter, she was a good mum, they were healthy puppies, and you had fun and found homes for them, do it again. Bruno Frenchie says, under 3 when you start going to the vet. I think we're talking about progesterone. The problem with progesterone is that some dogs will have puppies with progesterone levels 8. It doesn't happen often. Most of the time they are 3 or less, but not always the problem. To me, this is ectopic pregnancy, by the way, is what we were talking about. Yes, thank you. So that was from Fashion Forward. We were talking about using cysteine, and it can stop, can't think of the word for it, cysts anyway. But yeah, thank you. Somebody else said ectopic pregnancy, yes. Did a surgical last week at 30 nanograms on a one-third machine. Do you think my dog took? Yes, I do. I think that's good. Any advice on mush to kibble transmission on orphaned pups? Yes, Tammy's got some ideas on this. So you used to use Royal Canine puppy mush.
Uh-huh.
But you stopped doing that.
Yep.
Why?
Because why switch them from that dog food to the next dog food, especially with finicky stomachs? So I have Life Abundance Puppy, which we sell on our website as well. And I moisten it with warm water. And because warm water will get it softer quicker than goat's milk, warm goat's milk. So I do that. And then at the end, after I smashed it all up and I want it mushier, then don't let her chew on your hand. Then I'll add some goat's milk.
She wants some attention, doesn't she?
Yeah, but
so
we're learning not to bite
you talk about
on the
orphan
hands.
puppies. I don't think it matters what the puppies are. I think that if you've got a quality dog food, puppy food has high protein, go put it in a blender, mush it up, add some water to it, add some goat's milk to it, make it a really thin slurry when they're just 4 weeks old. Start thickening it up to the point where you've got this dry kibble by the time they're 8 weeks old, right? Not answering me.
Till 8 weeks old?
Fashion Forward Mum says I would name her Evangeline and call her Evie. Little Johnson's back with Reese's Pieces. SC says, going to check your online store. Interested in Incubator. Good. You'll like it. You like it. Yep.
Sit.
So I've kind of skipping through questions a little bit. If I don't answer a question, it's not because it just wasn't a good question. It's because I missed it. I apologize. Ed Flores. Hi, James. Our female started bleeding and went on into a heat on March the 31st. Should we do an AI on 10th, 11th of April or do another one on the 12th or the 13th? The answer to this is back to this crystal ball. Get your crystal ball up, rub on it, and see what it says, because we don't know. Here's what I do know.
Color?
Yes. What color would it be?
And is the dark red. It's still a little early. But if it's like at day 7, you could probably do your first test. And then day...
First what test?
Progesterone test. Reverse progesterone.
Right. So what time?
Not reverse.
Progesterone test.
Progesterone test.
What we're saying here is that most dogs are bred between day 11 and 13, but not all dogs. Most dogs will have gone light in color about the time they ovulate, around day 9. And most dogs will be receptive towards other dogs by day 10 through about day 15. So the way we used to do this was off blood color, number of days in heat, and how they're behaving towards other dogs. These days we do a progesterone test, and it's a more accurate way of doing it. And one last thing is if you do an AI, we just bred a dog the other day. In fact, Lee bred a dog for us to tell us about that one. Who's it? Okay, right. Let me think about it.
But the blood color that I'm talking about, if it starts turning pink and lighter,
vanilla,
then you're
probably in the right place.
Yeah, pretty close. But do that test.
And if you do an AI and you get a lot of the rod in very easily, that's what we call an open dog. And that's a good sign you're in the right place. And if you have some males around and you could put her with a male and she will stand there and let a male get up on her back, that's what we call standing heat. Another good sign you're in the right place.
Well, there's just some little girl dogs that are just real
slutty.
Yeah.
Right. And and by the way, using
and
the
then
male,
there's some girl dogs that'll just bite their heads off if they're not ready.
And look, you can't go by the male because especially young males, they're all over anything that'll move. So that's not a good sign. But generally, you will see females that'll go from this playing. You see this classic dance. It's fun to watch. The two dogs will square off head to head and start dancing around each other and being very frisky. And he'll get around and sniff on her, and she'll move around and lot.
And their ears almost
ears are
touched together.
Yep, right. And they're just dancing around each other.
Yeah.
And finally, she'll stop and let him get up on her back, and then walk away, and then she will stand still and let him get up on her back. And that's what we call a standing heat. And if you're at that place, you probably don't need a progesterone test. If I saw that happening, I didn't have a progesterone test, I'd breed that day, away today, and breed again. Okay. Fashion Forward Mom says you can name a latte.
I know.
Yes.
But every chocolate dog is named.
Somebody else says you can name a chestnut called Chessie. I like that one too. I think Chessie's cute. Somebody had mentioned the name Zigzag. I like that.
That's a boy's name.
I like.
We've had a dog named Zigzag in a litter group.
Somebody else suggested Lardy Da, and you could call her Ludda.
I said Lardy Da.
Oh, you did? Yes, I like that one too.
And I said Duchess, and I said Tilly, and I've said, it hasn't hit me yet.
Kahlua, which is the name that you'd come up with
Yes,
before.
I came up with
Yeah,
Kahlua,
right. Yeah.
the drink. You bet. I've tried different wine names also, and brandy names, and whiskey names.
So Six Price asking about this, the weaning. Is it every week that you thicken it up? Yeah, were you going to start off with a really runny mush
No.
when you first breed them around day, 4 weeks old, and you're then going to get to a very,
No,
almost
leave it.
lumpy by the time it's 8 weeks, and by the time the 10 weeks are on dry. Be careful, little bitty puppies who are first weaned don't necessarily take this very well.
Leave it.
You can have the majority of puppies gobbling all the food up, and one or two of them are just not getting any food because they just don't like it. You better put those ones back with mum, and then have more mum time. So remember, the secret to this is dogs need to be gaining weight. You don't need to necessarily weigh dogs when they're 4 or 5 weeks old, but pay attention to it. Because if you think you're getting a dog that's having problems, do weigh that dog, do track their weight, and make sure they are, in fact, gaining weight. A dog that's 6 weeks old has a lot longer time before it gets into trouble. A dog that is 7 days old can get in trouble in a hurry.
Oh, yeah.
In a hurry. Face the bully is the dog that turned him into a fluffy on the paperwork. Not sure what that means.
Do what?
Face the bully says, is the dog that turned him into a fluffy on the paperwork. I don't understand that question. You have to ask it a different way. We don't understand. Tell us what you mean. Fashion Forward says Tootsie. Okay, that's cute. Fashion Forward Mom says, oh, James, thank you for helping me with the whelping times on text. You guys are awesome. Hey, you're welcome. We help lots of people that way. So, I've had lots of people who ask questions who don't know us from Adam. They've seen our videos, and they're surprised when I pick up the phone and talk to them. So I want to help people. And if that means helping you, great. HD Frenchie says, probably means part of the pedigree. Again, I'm lost on this conversation here.
No.
Wolf King says, my female should have been in estrus days ago. My males have been circling her for 4 weeks. She's constantly licking her vulva. When will she actually begin her heat? So young dogs can absolutely have this roller coaster ride. Old dogs can definitely have a roller coaster ride where it takes things, the engine's not running on all cylinders. And so that could well be what's going on here. Some dogs will have what we call a split or missed heat, where they start a heat up, they get going, especially in younger dogs that are less than a year old. They get started with the heat cycle. It all looks like it's going to happen. It all dies down to nothing. And then suddenly, 2 weeks later, they come on like gangbusters and you get a normal heat. So things can be irregular. And all you got to be is patient. And if you're not sure what's going on, get a progesterone test. People say, oh, I probably missed her. You'll know whether you missed her. Because if you missed a heat, her progesterone levels will be very high for the next 2 months. It's not the act of breeding a dog that makes the progesterone rise. It's the act of the whole heat process that makes the progesterone levels go up. So a dog, regardless of whether it's bred or not, if it came into heat, if you go test that dog 3 weeks later, its progesterone levels are going to be high. And if they're high, 30, 40, 50, you've missed the heat. If they're low, she either didn't have a proper heat or she didn't have a heat at all. So, okay. Six Price says, when will the next time be that you're going live? We do them every Sunday at 8 o'clock Central Time. We are going to do a rather different thing. We've spent some money on some computers and other things, and we're going to try and do this through YardStream that lets us have videos and pictures and can't think of the right word, tablets that we can use to explain things. So we've been kind of learning that process a bit. Hopefully we'll have a different kind of a live next Sunday that I think will be more inclusive, more informative. Third Get Me Not says you could call her Gucci. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, I thought about Gucci because a long time ago, I used to groom dogs, and I had my own shop, and it was called Gucci. And my slogan was, let me Gucci your poochie. So it was the Gucci.
Oh, dear. I didn't know back then. Fashion Forward Mum says, too bad your daughter's name is Chanel. You could have called her Coco Chanel. That would have been a great name.
I know.
That would have been a great name. Yes.
Can't.
Somebody else says Prada. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're coming up on the over the hour mark here. So I think we're about done with this one. I'm going to look back through and see whether I think I missed anybody. Tammy, you got some breedings coming up. Tell us about that.
Yes. I'm going to get a rainbow color. I hope. I hate talking about that because I'm afraid I'm going to jinx it. So I'm going to have some nice stuff.
We haven't had any puppies in quite some time. Ariel, who
You
got
say
Billy,
that,
was
yeah.
the last one.
Yeah.
So we've had kind of a dry spell, which is fine. But
No,
we've actually
because I just have 2 working girls.
Well, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
But not exactly.
So what do you expect?
We got a co-own, and you've got another one.
Well,
that Cody's
yeah,
looking after us.
not a co-own.
But hey, look
People
at you,
that
pretty thing. But
bought females that are owed.
I think we're going to get 2 bred.
Yeah.
We've got 1 bred, and I think we're getting another 1 bred here. So we're going to have some puppies here in a couple of months.
Waiting on the one to come in the right numbers.
So here the question I had asked, Natalia, how many times should I feed the puppies when they're 6-7 weeks old? Twice a day. What is forget-me-nots? Who is in Australia? So European and Australian people talk in progesterone in nanomoles per milliliter, not nanograms that we do here in the USA. You multiply the number by 3.7, that gets you from what we use in the USA, nanograms, to nanomoles. So a dog that's being bred at a 15 on an IDEX machine here in the USA would be a number that's more like a 48 if you're in Australia. So when we say under 3, for progesterone level here in the United States, we're talking about under 10 for those of you who are in Europe and Australia. Psyched Pup, have you seen the progesterone machines that does pregnancy tests as well? Any thoughts? Well, I mean, what we use for pregnancy tests is relaxant pregnancy tests. They're dirt cheap. They cost like, I don't know, $12 a test. You do have to draw blood, but they're very easy to do.
You mean you
don't
can
need
buy
a machine.
them off our website?
Yes, you can. You buy them off my British Buy. You don't have to have a machine at all. You just buy the little cassette. They got a 2-year shelf life.
I was trying to be sneaky with the sales.
Yes, right. Let's have a look here. 14 puppies. Don't forget to talk about AI that I did and my boy still got. Noah says, Mr. James, don't forget to talk about my AI that I did and my boy still got to my girl after that. No, I don't remember the details. I talked to so many people and I was supposed to say something and I didn't. So remind me on that, maybe as a text, and I will bring that up next week. Or remind me now, and I'll talk about it right now. Let's see here. Blah blah blah. 6 people still nurse and a chance. Jeanine Vandermeer, can the water break before you see active contractions? My dog is in labor. She did nest a bit, was uncomfortable. She then had fluid coming out of her, now panting and nesting on and off.
Ooh.
But I have no puppies. Well, I can tell you this: if you're going to have a C-section, you best be going to the vet now.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a natural whelp, then it's happening very soon. Here's the guidelines for this. So you can have a dog that's water breaks, or even produce a puppy with its water never breaking and never had any visible contractions. Seen it happen. But most dogs, you will see visible contractions. And normally when you see visible contractions, you're going to have puppies in something between 1 to 5 hours. The rule of thumb is this. Water breaks, you need to see a puppy come out within 30 minutes. Green discharge, you're in trouble. You need to go have a C-section done immediately. Having contractions and don't have a puppy within 2 hours, time to go to the vet. Had a puppy and not having to see another puppy for a couple of hours, time to go to the vet. Those are the general rules. Hey there.
She wants your microphone.
I know she does. All right, I'm going back through this. I think that we've pretty much got these taken care of.
I think Cody's going to be having a litter here in about another month and a half.
Or less, I think, actually.
Oh, less? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you expect fluffies and fluffy carriers out of that group.
Okay, let's have a few more questions at the end here.
Quit. I'll take you out in just a minute.
Noah says, I did an AI that Friday and my boy got on her naturally Sunday. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't remember the specifics, Noah. I remember we had a conversation, but I can say this. If you've got a dog that's in heat, and you let that dog out of your sight to go outside, there's a good chance it gets bred by another dog. Dogs are insistent, both females and males, about getting the job done. I talk to lots of people who've got unwanted pregnancies for this very reason. That they left the dog with somebody, they put them out in the backyard, they go out there and they find dogs are hooked up, and it's not the dog they want to breed to. Absolutely can happen. Absolutely. And unfortunately, if you catch a dog that's bred your dog unwanted, and you get right on it within maybe half an hour, you've got a good chance that you can flash the dog out with one of these products from Walmart, like Summer's Eve, basically vinegar. Douche it out. You can get a good chance of stopping the pregnancy. If you let this thing go on for a few hours, he's not going to get. That's not going to work. HD French, you just bought the PG machine and centrifuge store in PGs. Good, absolutely, you will love it. Okay. How much blood do you pull on a PG test? You need at least half a cc. I like to have a cc, but half a cc will get it done. Name her Camilla. Kamala.
Kamala. Yeah. Huh? No, thank you.
Let's name her Pelosi.
No, thank you.
Don't even go there.
That is H-E-double-L. No.
We're going to get into some, look.
No political stuff, please.
No, that's right. We don't want to get into that. Okay, so I think we've now gone, 10 minutes over. I think we've answered all the questions. Next week is going to be different. We're going to have a different system to do all this. We'll be able to put videos and pictures and get a whiteboard out and do all that stuff. So I think it'll be exciting. We're probably going to mess it all up completely. We're trying to, we're old people, and we're probably not as tech savvy.
What are you talking about? You're old.
I am old. But I had a computer company, so I should know about this stuff. And I, for the most part, do. But that doesn't mean that we are, you get less flexible as you get older. I don't mean just in terms of your body movements, but I mean in terms of your brain and the way that you get stuck in your ways. We do not want to get stuck. I'm going to say this to everybody who's listening. When you start complaining about your grandparents and how they don't be like them, if you think they're stuck in the ways, pay attention to it. Keep on top of things. Learn new things every day. Keep your brain going, and it will serve you well. All right, there we go. That's the lecture from Tammy and James.
Just a minute.
And from
we'll go.
And from Gucci. Gucci. I like Gucci. All right, bye, buddy.
Say bye. Okay, let's go outside. Let's go potty.